Welcome to Human Centric. Today's episode is with Alex Griffiths. Alex is a friend and old client of mine. Alex has got an interesting story and he's been really vocal about how he used training as a vehicle for change for his mental and physical health. Today, Alex and I cover a lot of topics that I know lots of people listening to this will relate to massively. Alex is the first guest of many, so if you could like, comment, and subscribe and tell me what you think, that would be really useful. Enjoy. Oh, good you? Don't worry. Mate, literally don't even worry. We're all good.
It's looking smart, isn't it?
Cheers, mate. Nice one. Everyone's been nice about it, to be honest. You know, and you come in, take your coat off, do what you need. Come in, sit down, jump on that one over there, mate.
Cheers, mate.
Mate, I really appreciate you doing this.
No, don't be silly. Happy to do it.
Yeah, you know what, mate? I've tried to do it properly.
Chuck yourself
tried to do
into
it properly. I'm going to invest in some proper camera gear and stuff like that, but I got the new iPhone last week, so
Quality.
I just thought, you know what, for now, get the first few out of the way.
100%. Have you done it? Have you done a couple?
Mate, you are the first one.
Oh, there we go. Yeah, how are you? So you're back here permanently now?
Yeah, back permanently. For now.
Yeah.
Permanently for now. And we'll get going in a sec. But did you enjoy? Florida?
Mate, I've loved it. I've honestly loved it. Because obviously it's the second time that I've been living out there.
Mm-hmm.
Like the first time was good. Don't get me wrong, but I was sort of like ready to come back. I felt like I was a little bit like too immature for it.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
But when I've gone back, I've gone with like more intention, and no, I've loved it. The weather helps, like, done it. Obviously, being back here and this.
The climate is like, I don't think you realise until you live out of it.
Yeah.
You know, growing up here,
100%.
you don't notice it. The other thing for me more so is time saving. You know the light.
Yeah.
How are you anyway?
Yeah, no, all good, mate. Yeah, all
feeling
good. Feeling good, to be fair. Yeah.
Good.
Then I'm off to Brazil on Friday.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That is sick.
Yeah.
Is it
just getting off? Traveling pretty much everywhere, but.
So you're not going back to Florida now?
I will do after that. So I'm going to go away
Okay.
for like 5 months ish, and then get back to America for the World Cup. And then obviously it's there, innit? So
I'll
I'll move back. Yeah.
You'd be stupid not to do that, wouldn't you? Fair enough. Have you sorted tickets and stuff? Or
no,
work?
so yeah, still trying, but yeah, we might be able to get stuff through work and some of the connections we've got.
Should we get going?
Yeah, mate.
I'm going to start you with a quote, mate, okay?
Alright, sweet.
On another timeline, if I hadn't made it through, there are people who are incredibly important to me now that I'd never have met. I'd have missed some incredibly big days and big moments, and there'd have been tables where I would not have had a seat. No matter how bad things get, it does get better. Who said that?
I did.
Yeah, you. What does this version of you think of that quote? I know this version of you wrote that quote because it was very recent on your mental health page, which we're going to talk about in a sec. But what does this version of you now, having completed that challenge and wrote those lines, what do you think of that?
Yeah, I mean, every video that I did, like I used a lot of my journals that I was actually writing at the time, like when I was actually going through my sort of mental health challenges. I started writing everything down and journaling everything. So every video that I was doing, I was looking at the stuff I was writing and then creating a video off it, now. And I never thought I'd get into that place where I was so low. And then I definitely, when I was at that point, never thought I would get to the place where I am now, where a lot more confident in myself, a lot more knowledgeable about myself, and just much happier in sort of like who I am, I guess.
What do you relate to that person anymore? The at your lowest, do you still feel them knocking on the door sometimes?
Yeah, definitely. I think sometimes, I mean, even like this Christmas, sometimes I think I feel myself, like my mental health going a little bit, but because I've been through that, I can sort of identify it quicker and put actions in a lot quicker. Yeah. And sort of, I think whenever obviously at Christmas I come back, I drink loads, I eat shit, don't train as much, and then it's like, oh, hang on, that's probably contributing. Yeah. So I can sort of identify it, and I love that quote where you might revisit the same places, but you visit it with different eyes. Yeah. And I think that's exactly how I see things now.
Do you find it scary looking back and seeing it back through those old eyes and like thinking, how was I making that evaluation? Like, how was I telling myself those things? And now I see, and you feel like the new version of you is like screaming at the old version of you, going, "What are you doing? What are you thinking?" Do you feel like that?
Definitely.
Yeah.
In like so many situations.
Yeah.
And I think it all started from like for my case, it was like a gradual decline, and then it felt like it just fell off a cliff eventually. And I think all the little things that added up that was affecting me negatively just obviously like compounded, and they could have all been avoided.
Yeah.
Very, very early.
On that way down, did you try and do the things that you did when you hit the bottom? Were you trying to do them already? Were you telling yourself, I've got to do this, but then you weren't doing them? Or did it only occur to you when you were struggling at the very end?
Yeah, to be honest with you, I was just in denial for a long time. I thought, right, things will get better. This is just a moment, and things will pick up.
Yeah.
And even some of the things that sort of contributed, I even had like my brother Mark telling me, "Oh, you should probably cut that out, or you should probably do this." Just like, yeah. You just, I just didn't.
You don't want to believe that that it's fully your responsibility, do you? Because like that weighs heavily. I know for me that weighs heavily on me, right? Like it's when you. I've kind of changed my relationship with responsibility over the years, but it used to weigh heavy on me, and I used to think like something will come along or something will happen or I'll be okay or whatever when I was struggling with my mental health. But then I had this like epiphany of like responsibility only feels painful in the short term. In the long term, it's like it gives you freedom. That makes sense. Like once you realise that, like it's the age-old saying, isn't it? And I never actually meant to quote this saying when I started this sentence, but so I'm laughing at myself because it's cliche. But like the whole "nobody's coming to save you" thing. When you realise that, everyone hears that saying, right? And we've all seen it online and whatever else. But when you realise it in practice, you're like, oh yeah, like and it's sound. Do you know what I mean? Like for me, that was quite freeing, and I've had a couple of moments like that recently myself. Like they've been freeing. It's like, you know, maybe like you say, people are saying to you, maybe you should do that a bit less, or maybe you should do that a bit less, and you're like, you want that balance, don't you? But sometimes you've got to go all the way to one end of the scale, rather than aiming for the middle of the scale. You've got to go all the way to one end of the scale and then come backwards to balance it out, rather than like coming from this end of the scale, aiming for the middle and just like kind of wobbling when you get there. You've got to go all the way here and then slowly bring it back to the middle, I think. I think that's something that I noticed in you as well when we were working together, that like it was like, okay, I've tried training, but now I want to train. And now I've tried looking after my nutrition, but now I want to like really look after my nutrition. And then what that allowed you to do was like, we worked for 12 weeks together, didn't we? And I feel like you went from there to that end of the scale, and then you've gone and brought it back to the middle. Whereas lots of people try and go like into the middle here, don't they? You know what I mean? Did you feel that?
Yeah, definitely. And it's like what they say, when things aren't sort of bad enough to make a change, that's the most dangerous position you can be in.
That's exactly what I was talking about, that downward slope. Like you like, oh, you make small token changes, and they're almost like you're like appeasing yourself. They're not necessarily they're not good enough to make a difference in your life, are they? But the other people around you, you're like showing them, you know, it's like using an analogy that's not you or me. It's like it's like a middle-aged woman who is 4 or 5 stone overweight, saying to their work colleagues, "I don't eat bread," and it's like, that might be true, but like they think in saying that everybody thinks they're making an effort. But in reality, they've still got health issues, right? Like it's the same thing, isn't it? You know what I mean?
Definitely.
Let me give you another one. You don't build trust by offering help. You build it by asking for it. Do you want to tell me what you think of that? What's your thoughts behind that?
Yeah, and that's something that I came across that recently.
Mm-hmm.
And to be fair, throughout my life, I've always been like very much like a giver. Like, but no, it's like I'd do anything for anyone. Like my close mates, family, I'd always do absolutely anything. But I've always found it uncomfortable, like asking for help or asking for something from someone. Like even to the day, I'd rather spend 4 hours doing something on my own than ask someone for help and probably take an hour.
Yeah.
And that's like a moment of realization that I've had, that this year, like one of my goals is get comfortable in asking for help. Because I think it's true. Like if you just give help, that's great. And people are like, oh, he's such a good guy. But asking for help, like when someone asks me for help, that makes me think, oh, wow, like they value me. Mm-hmm. They believe in me to help them. So I think it's a really powerful thing. Like, don't just give help, but be comfortable asking for help. And it's going to help them to trust you more and you build deeper connections, deeper relationships.
Yeah, I agree. One of the things I always say to people who join up with me with coaching is I always say thanks for trusting me. And sometimes people have like a weird reaction to it, but sometimes you have to remind people that like the biggest non-tangible thing you can give somebody without it being, like I say, a tangible physical item that isn't love is trust.
Yeah.
Right. Like, and mate, we all work hard for our money.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like really hyper aware of that when people like give me the money that they've gone to work and earned.
Yeah.
I sometimes feel a bit weird about it. Does that make sense? Like, I feel like an anxiety towards providing what I feel like I need to provide for that. And I always say to people, thanks for trusting me, because coaching is a privilege. It's not a necessity in anybody's life. So like, coming from my angle, I want people to feel like their experience was a necessity. Does that make sense?
Yeah, sure.
So yeah, when I saw you talking about the trust quote, and I was like, I wonder what that means to him. So no, I'm glad about that. Talk to me about the business, because I know we've spoken off camera about the change in your life at the moment, but talk to me about where the business started and what you guys do, and how you've linked up with, because you're in connection with another company, aren't you? You work together. Yeah. Talk me through that, because I actually don't know the detail of that, so talk me through it.
Yeah, for sure. So we started the business, I was 23, with obviously my twin brother Mark, and sports management company where we help athletes with opportunities around the world. So let's say an athlete, let's take a footballer for example, he doesn't get that pro contract at his academy. He then falls into this pot where I feel like a lot of my friends do at school and so on, where you're not turning pro and then you almost like drop off a little bit. So we basically help athletes like that with opportunities elsewhere. And a big market for us, our biggest market, has been sending athletes to America, which is obviously what I did when I initially moved over there.
Yeah.
So we'll take an athlete, we'll market them out to coaches and colleges and universities, negotiate their scholarships for them, get them placed into a team that's going to be a good fit for them, and then just manage their career from there out there. Mm-hmm. So we started off just me and my brother. We then partnered up with a company that I used to work for called ASM Sports, where when I was back here, they could take care of them whilst they're out in America. Mm-hmm. And from there, it's been a good relationship with them. I actually ended up going back from here, moving back out to Florida, and that's what I've been doing there for the past 2 years. And I'll talk a little bit about sort of why I moved back out there, because that's also related to my mental health and stuff. When I made that transition. But yeah, I moved out there to work directly for ASM as a director. And then recently I moved back into more of a partner role, because getting off and not going directly back to Florida.
Travelling around the world, aren't you? We're going to come to travelling around the world in a second. Okay, then talk to me about guys come from it's fair to say, a hard-working, successful family, right? Your family have done some great things in business, right? Do you feel the pressure of that?
So I think I actually never have.
No.
And I think it's a massive credit to my mum and dad.
I was going to say that, yes. Really? I didn't mean to interrupt them. I was going to say that's definitely down to how you've been brought up.
Yeah,
definitely.
100%. And I think deep down, my dad wishes that one of us maybe sort of followed in his footsteps and took over that.
Yeah.
But he's never ever pressured us. And he's always supported everything that, like me and Mark with the business and stuff like that. He's always offered advice. He's connected us to the right people. The small things like accounting and taxes and all that sort of stuff.
The little things make the big things, don't they, mate? They're the ones that
definitely matter. But he's never sort of overstepped the mark. He's never tried to push us in a different direction. And like my mum, I could go to the beach and pick up shells and sell them. And
that's the mum mentality. They just buzz off whatever you do.
Exactly. Like she'd be so proud. She'd tell all of her friends about it. And I think as long as they can see that we're trying. They're always supportive.
I like that. And I guess like we were just saying there about how you've been brought up and stuff. You don't have to take over your dad's businesses to take on his skills, right? And take on his ability to communicate. You don't have to take on your dad's business to take on his work ethic. You've grown up in an environment where you've soaked all that in like a sponge. And like you say, as long as you're trying and doing something, if you're applying that elsewhere, then I guess he's probably equally as happy, isn't he?
Yeah, for sure. And like I know he's taught us a lot of values. Like he made us work from a young age. As soon as we could work, he was like, right, you're earning your own money.
Yeah.
And there's a funny story. When I first moved out to America, I didn't realise that I had to sort my own taxes.
Right.
And obviously I was living, just moved to like Miami. I was like living paycheck to paycheck, spending everything.
I bet you were spending everything in Miami, yeah.
And like all of a sudden I was hit with like, you've got to pay like $6,000 or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And obviously I was like, like shit, like called my mum and dad and was like, I've not got any money. Yeah. And then issue mum was like, we'll sort it, like we'll figure it out, like don't worry.
Your dad shouting from the other side of the living room.
He was like, yeah,
fucking won't.
Yeah, he was like, absolutely not. He was like, right, you've got yourself in this mess, like what are you gonna do about it?
Yeah.
And he was like, right, how much time have you got? Can you apply for an extension? How are you gonna get that money? Can you pick up another job? Can you do this? And to be fair to him, like he made me sort it out myself.
Yeah.
And
you only learn that way, don't you, mate?
Yeah.
You do only learn that way. My dad's the same. Like, we laugh about it now as a family, me, my dad, and my sister, and you learn as an adult in your mid-30s that it's actually called critical parent syndrome because it doesn't come with all positives. But like we were laughing about it the other week, and my dad looked at me and said, "We turned out all right, didn't you?" And I was like, "That's not the point, Dad." Like he'd make me like wash the car when I was a kid, but like he'd come out instead of being like, "Right, the car's washed."
Yeah.
He'd do like a 30-point inspection on the car, and I'm like 8. You know what I mean? Like I can't even reach the middle of the roof, and he's like the middle of the roof's dirty, and I'm like, I can't reach, and he's like, well, why haven't you found something in the garage to stand on? And it like he was always pushing me with those little tiny details of like, just find the answer, I'm not giving you the answer, just go and find the answer. Like you got it. And I guess like now as an adult, I think like it's made me not scared to fail. Like we're sitting here recording the first episode of what I hope is plenty of podcasts. Someone told me you've not earned the right to say you've got a podcast until you've done 150 episodes. So we're not quite there yet. But there. Do you know what I mean? Like you've got to like what he's just encouraging you to like almost make those mistakes, isn't he? Do you know what I mean? That's funny. Yeah. Okay, so going back to what we were talking about your mental health. Actually, before that, let me ask you about the business. What direction is the business going in? I'll get back to talking to Alex in just a second, but I just wanted to tell you that today's episode is sponsored by Alex's company, The Sports Consultants. They're a sports management company partnered with ASM Sports, and they help young athletes access life-changing opportunities around the world through sport. They work mostly in the United States, and they help young athletes secure college scholarships and help manage them whilst they spend time overseas. This allows them to compete in highly competitive sporting environments whilst earning a world-class education. And this is something that simply isn't possible in other countries. They provide fantastic alternative pathways for young athletes who might not quite reach the level of professional sport in their own countries. This helps keep the doors open to professional opportunities after college, whether that be in professional sport or beyond. Sports consultants is about giving young athletes global opportunities, long-term security, and a chance to maximize their potential. So if you're a young athlete who wants to pursue a professional career in sports overseas while still continuing your academic studies, or you're the parent of a young athlete and you want to help them progress even further, you can find the links to everything that you need in the comment section below. You're coming away from, is it AMS?
ASM, yeah.
ASM, sorry. You're coming away from ASM, and you're going back into more of a partner role with yours and Mark's company. Where do you see the next 5 to 10 years for that relationship and your company individually, and then obviously together?
Yeah, for sure. So obviously I'm stepping out of I was basically managing a team of like recruiters. So I wasn't managing athletes, I wasn't recruiting athletes or signing athletes when I was working for them as a director. I've basically just been looking after the team, training them, managing them, basically trying to get the best out of them so they can succeed in the industry.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, I've loved that. I've learned so many new skills, got the opportunity to work with investors that have come in to build the technology side, working directly with them. But I have missed the element of working with the athletes and seeing the actual change of the players that reminded me of me.
Yeah.
And I think that's where I got, I loved it, but I got a bit disconnected and I felt myself like stopping growing in that role.
Yeah. And
my passion was helping the athletes. So,
yeah. You get to that point, don't you, where if it's not serving you, it's like it's kind of gotta not gotta go, but it's gotta do something.
It's got to change. Yeah.
Let me just find something, because I wrote a quote down a couple of weeks ago, and it was exactly on something like that. It was amazing, and I'm gonna get it.
It's good that you're writing down, mate.
Yeah, that's what I do.
Yeah.
Protect your passion at all costs. If you begin to hate the thing that you do, you negatively change your trajectory, and that's what you're talking about there. Yeah. At the end of the day, if you go into work unhappy, you're not unhappy, but there's a difference between like unhappiness and fulfillment, isn't there? So where do you see that going then over the next 5 to 10 years? Is there a growth target? What does the success of that look like to you?
Yeah, for sure. So we'll go back into recruiting our own players, managing our own players, which I'm really excited about. We've done it before where we started to grow and we started employing people, and we got it very wrong.
Okay.
Very, very wrong.
Yeah. Mo HR, mo problems, as the old rap song goes.
Exactly. And that, even maybe talk about that later, but even that whole situation was basically the start of my whole mental health decline, interestingly. But now I think if we do that again, obviously we've got a lot more experience with it. We know what not to do. Yeah. What we should be doing. So we can obviously try and grow it that way again. But for me, obviously I'm going travelling because I feel like I've still got something in me that wants to figure out if I'm meant to do something more or something different. Yeah. Like doing this mental health challenge, talking about mental health, seeing that the small amount of people that I did sort of reach, it impacted quite a few.
It impacted a lot of people. Obviously, I interacted quite heavily on it. Firstly, because we are friends, and secondly, because we've obviously had a good working relationship as well. I was going back through it yesterday and this morning, and it reminded me how many people did actually do it. And you know what I wanted to say to you today? You need to post, man. You need to post. Not for those people, but for yourself, because that reaffirms to you that you're doing the right thing. You know, did you enjoy it? Did you enjoy creating content, and did you enjoy putting it out there?
So that was the hardest bit of the challenge, for sure. The physical stuff, don't get me wrong, it was hard, but I loved it. Yeah. I did find that the most challenging, particularly at the start. Every time I posted, shut my phone off.
Horrible, isn't
That's
it?
Like,
it's
I'm just
horrible.
putting that away. Yeah.
Horrible. I still, mate, I've been making content for 10 years,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And I hate it.
Yeah.
I don't hate it. Well, actually, you know what's a good point? Actually, I just want to say something, not to interrupt you, but I just want to say something while I'm here. That is one of the main reasons for this podcast. I sent you a guest primer before you come on, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And that the main issue, the reason for this podcast is I just hate the way the world is rewarding short form, uncontextualized content that has no value. Everyone's just copying each other. The same 5 reels you see over and over and over again, and it's like no wonder everybody's getting like we're drifting further apart rather than together. And that's why I wanted to do this, because like I just want to create content my own way. I don't want to have to appease the algorithm. I just want to talk. I just want to talk to my mates. Do you know what I mean? I want to
100%.
I feel like I've just got to that point in life where I've met so many interesting people, and one of the things I've written in that is like, you don't have to be famous to provide value to the world, because like we just seem to be rewarding wallies, just fucking wallies everywhere, mate. Do you know what I mean? So like, that's exactly why I've done this, because I wanted to change the way I create content. But mate, back to what you're saying, it's difficult, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's tough.
It is tough. But then, like you say, like even though like there's mainly like my friends and people that I knew that were like watching and engaging, which was great. And it is so cliche, isn't it? But if you can just help someone, like one person, that little bit, it's worth it. Yeah. So, but I definitely got a passion for mental health and helping people in that way, helping people understand that they're not alone and it will get better. Yeah. So maybe I transition more into sort of like a career even. Further towards that.
Nice. Yeah.
So I'm
sure those young athletes get lonely, mate.
Exactly.
They're away from home, and like 100%. we look at athletes as objects, and I think there's got to be something that we can do in general, whether it's like a government funded thing or whether it's a private thing, or like something in the middle like yours where you've got an organisation and there's a segment of the organisation that helps that. I think there's got to be something we can do for young athletes, because I mean, you only have to look into the ranks of like the Premier League, and you know, if you like, we know people who are friends with Premier League footballers and whatever else. No wonder they're all addicted to sleeping tablets and all kind. There's an absolute pandemic in young people's sport where there's stuff going on behind the scenes that you just wouldn't even believe. Do you know what I mean? Like it is bad. Let me ask you this: you've seen success growing up because of hard work, right? You've seen it be rewarded. You've seen the spoils of that, if you like. You've seen the sweat, the blood, the tears that goes into it. You started your own business. You're looking at scaling it. At one point in your life, you were the unhappiest you could have been. So, what is your thoughts on the relationship, or your relationship, between success and happiness, and which one comes first? I think I know the answer to that. I think I know the answer to that for everyone if they sit and think about it. But have you got any thoughts on that scale? Because it's something I've thought about heavily for a long time. Like, how do people connect success and happiness?
Yeah, for sure. And like my definition of success has changed massively from when I first started the business at 23, whatever it was. Yeah. It was everything that you see that's wrong online. It's the big houses, the yacht, the cars, the travelling around all the time.
That Miami
life.
It's
the money. Exactly, yeah. That is what I wanted.
Yeah. Mate, there's nothing wrong with that. You've got to be happy when you get there, though, haven't you?
That's it, yeah. And now, don't get me wrong, I still have a bunch of financial goals that I want to go and achieve. I think that's important. Yeah. But you might have seen a video that I did on it. I categorise it into like the 4 pillars of happiness, which is health, wealth, love, and then that adds up to happiness. Yeah. So I'll look at those in more detail, and the thing that I have to put first, particularly with everything that I've gone through now, is health. Yeah. Obviously your physical health, but then your mental health. And it's that classic saying, isn't it? You've got thousands of problems until you've got a health problem. Yeah. And then you got one problem.
Tell me about that, yeah. Definitely.
So success is now, like, it's not just one thing. It's not just all the fancy stuff. Still part of it is there. I still want to achieve a lot in that side. Yeah. But it's everything. It's relationships, it's love, it's yeah, obviously, like I said, health, both
Yeah.
physically and mentally.
Yeah. So we started working together, and I don't think I realised this at the time. I realised it halfway through, and I remember when I realised it, because we had a conversation. The first thing I did was text Mark, actually.
Yeah.
Because when I went through a period of bad mental health, one of the things that my therapist said to me is, you need to tell the four most important people in your life what you've just told me, and I need you to first and foremost watch their reaction, and secondly, tell them all they're allowed to communicate behind your back. And that second point was a game changer for me, because if one of them wasn't checking on me, the other one was checking on me, and if he wasn't checking on me, he was checking on me, and that changed the game for me. So yeah, the first person I messaged was Mark, but we started working together when you were. I don't think I realised this, that you were at the bottom, weren't you? Right. I didn't realise at the time that I was your source of. No, you were your source of action. You just outsourced it to me a little bit. I listened to a video that you did this morning, and you said you were 26, 27. You'd moved back in with your mum and dad. You were feeling rubbish, and it got to the point where you couldn't work, right? Mm-hmm. How did using training and I guess looking after yourself more, because we spoke about that off camera. I'm going to talk about it as well, but you notice that your mental health gets worse when you stop looking after yourself. I agree with that.
Yeah.
How did you find using training as a vehicle for change to take the mind with it? Was that a big thing?
Yeah, 100%. Like you said, I actually remember when we had that call where we were like, okay, I want to do this and so on. And you asked me, like, why do you want to do this? And I don't think I could really get my words out because I'd have broken down.
Yeah.
And like I was just trying to like hold myself back and being just like, I just want to start. I'm ready. Like I trust you.
Yeah.
Obviously loads of our friends have gone through you as well and had a great experience. But I just knew that I was sitting in bed all day doing nothing. I needed to start making steps forward, and I couldn't do the thinking. So what was amazing for me was like...
It's funny that you say that. Yeah. Go on, carry on.
It was obviously like working with you. I didn't have to think. When I couldn't think because my mind was just full of all this other stuff, all I had to do is just follow the plan and just tick boxes off every day. Yeah. And again, you were helping to keep me accountable. The constant messages, obviously the weekly check-ins and everything. That was massive for me, because it's one thing saying, oh, I'm going to go to the gym, or I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. Yeah.
Gave you a purpose.
Exactly.
Gave you a purpose. I just want to categorically say there's probably a lot of people listening to this. Well, hopefully there's a lot of people listening to this, but there's probably some people listening to this that have heard me say multiple times. One of our coaching philosophies is, actually, before I tell you that, a very wise man, Mr. Ben Hawksworth, if you ever see this, thank you very much, told me once that you need to know what's going on the inside of your business to be able to tell everybody else what's going on. And he helped me build like a Bible, and part of that Bible was like 10 commandments. Yeah. 10 to 15. We did a couple more. One of them is I'll do the thinking, you do the doing. And you've just said that. I didn't have to do the thinking, and I just wanted to say that it's probably my number one said thing on Instagram, and I didn't want people to think I'd made you say it, and I was buzzing when you said it, to be honest with you, because it is true. It is true. I mean, listen, I'm biased. I obviously believe in coaching in multiple environments, but mate, when that pressure is relieved and you can just freely work and freely move, the changes you can make in a short period of time, not just physically, but how that drives everything else. Like I say, using that as a vehicle for change, it's massive, isn't it? It's
definitely
massive.
Yeah. And like for me, you did just make it really simple, and even though everything else at the time was still horrendous, like I still wasn't working, I still wasn't doing anything. That was the only thing I would do, is I'd get myself to the gym an hour and a half to 2 hours a day, whatever it was. But at least I could go to bed, fill in my stuff, reflect a little bit and be like, well, okay, still I'm feeling awful, but at least I've done that today.
Yeah, it's purpose, isn't it? Purpose 100%. Is a big driver, and like I just feel like sometimes I felt like a little bit towards the end of last year I didn't feel like very purposeful in what I was doing. It's one of the reasons why we're sitting here today, mate. On what is the date? What are we? The 6th of Jan. That's why we're sitting here today on the 6th of Jan, because I was just like, you know what, I need something to grab me again. Do you know what I mean? Because I'm sitting on Instagram going, I hate social media. I hate this, I hate that, and I'm like just listing things that are negative, and exactly like you said, I just needed to change that. You know, mate, I'm glad you had such a good experience with coaching, because it means an awful lot to me, not because not just from a business point of view, but from like you know, obviously we're mates as well, so it means a lot to me that and listen, sometimes it's hard to coach your friends. It's hard. Like it's hard to coach your family. It's hard that like, those people around you, you don't see each other in that way sometimes. I'm glad we were able to do that. What did you find most useful about that experience? You said there about the check-ins and feeling like you come to something at the end of the day. Is there anything you can put your finger on that you felt like was really valuable at that time for you?
Yeah, I think definitely the accountability, like easy again, just having you there, knowing that you're going to be looking at what I'm doing, and that I also didn't want to let you down. Going back to me being like a giver as well and stuff like that. Yeah. I didn't want to let you down.
Do you remember the conversation we had on that?
I do.
Do you remember me saying you don't need to apologise to me, and I'm not here to catch you out. I'm here to help you out. Try and change that in people a lot. But some people. I'll be straight back on with Alex in just a sec, but I just wanted to take this opportunity to say thank you to anybody who is listening to this first episode. And I also just wanted to say, if anyone would like to sponsor one of these segments, please don't hesitate to drop me a message on any of the social media platforms, and I can talk you through how you can do that. Back to the good stuff. It's not a bad thing for to get them off the mark. Mm-hmm. Does that make sense? Like it's not a bad thing to get them out the blocks, and then once they're out the blocks, you can say to them, hey, relax, we're good. You don't need to impress me. You don't need to. I'm not here to catch you up. I'm here to help you out. So yeah, I'm glad. As I say, I'm glad you had a good experience. Yeah. When you have gone to Florida this time around, were there any points when you went out there and you kind of stepped out your comfort zone? You went away again, and you said to me that this time was different than last time. You felt like you were more mature this time. You'd learned from what you'd done previously, and not filed your taxes and stuff like that. Was there any moments that you regressed? Did you have those things? Oh shit, I'm losing my habits here. What did you do to bring it back? What did you change?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, again, it comes back to your coaching, and like another thing that I found so helpful is that you taught like a skill that I can use for life. Like, if I ever drop off, I know steps that I need to follow to get back on point. But in terms of moving back out to Florida, I mean, I'll be honest, obviously, as you know, I was in a tough spot when I made that decision. Mm-hmm. And I was lucky that I did. And I think when I first moved back out, I thought that was kind of running away from the problems back here, when it turned out to be exactly what I needed. Yeah. And like pulling it all back into mental health. I feel like everyone is different, like not sort of one size fits all. Obviously, I'm not sure like what helped you sort of get out of it, but for me, putting myself in a new environment where I didn't really know anyone, everyone that I knew before had basically left. Mm-hmm. I had no money because I'd not been working, spent it all, I'd been living at my mum and dad's. And it put me in a challenging position where I didn't have a car out there. I was walking around everywhere, and me just feeling that I was doing something, just like doing something and getting by on my own, made me feel so much better so quickly.
It's like what we said about responsibility at the start, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like responsibility is powerful. It seems like it weighs heavy on you at the start when you first feel it, and then once you sit with it for a little minute, it becomes a powerful tool for change. Yeah. Because then you're not looking outside, you're not waiting for that thing to happen, or you're not blaming something else, it's not somebody else's fault or whatever. Then you go, oh well, I can do things, and then you move more freely, then you're more fluid with it. you just asked me there. What did you ask me? You said
Yeah, so
what about
for me, it was like putting myself in a completely like challenging position.
yeah.
Like, I wonder what sort of helped you.
I think one of the biggest things for me, when I was at my, I honestly couldn't see a pathway out. Genuinely couldn't see a pathway out. I didn't expect to be saying this today. I used to drive over the M53 bridge in Prenton and think things that you shouldn't think. And I used to, so when I was going to therapy at the time, that woman and Tracy, my therapist, amazing woman, said to me, get those four people who mean the most to you, who aren't necessarily your family, get them in a room and tell them what you've just told me. Tell them they're allowed to communicate behind your back, and you want to find a way out of feeling that way. That was the biggest instigator for me. That moment. But in terms of like challenging myself, it was a responsibility thing. Like I'd lost a house, a relationship, all that kind of stuff, and I had to go through that period of sulking. Like I had to go through that period of sitting in the mud and not realizing whose fault it was. I know whose fault it was, but I had to come to terms with that, right? And it was definitely a responsibility thing afterwards as well. Leaning into the business was helpful. One of the things that jumped out at me was like, I was probably coaching 60, 65 people at the time. Yeah. Mate, I felt like a fraud. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like having to talk to people about people coming in and like, I wasn't able to handle their stuff anymore. And like loose conversations became dead heavy to me. And it was like one of those moments where I was just like, you know what, I need to, I'm going to lose more than I've already lost if I carry on this way. So yeah, that was a big thing for me, the responsibility of kind of working it back and having kind of a bit between my teeth. But then like, it's powerful, isn't it? Because like you, like I wouldn't be sitting here with you now talking to you. Like since that moment, I've probably spent about $9,000 on therapy since then. So, you know what I mean? Yeah. So like, we're talking, like I wouldn't have learned all the things that I've learned, and I wouldn't have been able to be comfortable being a coach as much as I think I would be now if I didn't. So, you know, you have got to think like, as much as these things are difficult to talk about, and as much as, you don't want to have to go through them. I always say like the you know, not just that, before that happened, obviously, as you know, when my mum died when I was 24, I say to people now, weirdly, as a 34-year-old, that was the best thing that ever happened to me. To me. Yeah. Not for sure. To anybody else in the situation. Mm-hmm. I look back at that now and go, I was a knob. Do you know what I mean? I was a knob at 23, 24. Yeah. Like, I was going nowhere. And I wasn't going nowhere, and I definitely had it in me. But like, I just remember sitting on the bed at the end, like the next day, and going, well, you better grow up now, haven't you? Because you got to do stuff. You got to improve the business. You got to buy a house. You got to do this. You got to do that. You got to go and like get out into the world. And you know, for you, I know from talking to you outside of this podcast that it's definitely, I think you feel the same way. Like there's almost like a smugness about it, isn't there? Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Like 100%. Maybe that's the wrong word. Do you agree with that? Is the smug the right word? Do you feel like not like untouchable, but like you can't hurt me? Like I hurt myself. Yeah. Don't think you can hurt me, because it's, you know, that's harder, isn't it? You know?
Yeah. No, I completely agree with you. And like, it's, yeah, it's almost that kind of that smugness, but also like you're grateful that it happened because
it's contentment, isn't it?
Yeah,
Contentment is probably the
yeah,
right
probably
word.
the right word. Yeah.
Like you feel a little bit. Obviously, like you said, you have the bad days, you have the bad weeks, but you feel a little bit like calmer. You feel more assured, don't you? Like if you've gone through something like that, and I guess that's where gratitude comes in, doesn't it? Because you've got to be like, I'm just grateful that I was able to deal with it, and then I'm become more durable, resilient, and I also have more tools to deal with it again in the future.
100%, and I think it makes you a better person in the long run, and better to look after future family, friends that are close to you, current family, everything really. So yeah, as much as it is as painful as it is when you're going through it at the time, like I am grateful. I wouldn't have been sitting here, I wouldn't have been going traveling, I wouldn't have been working on a business, like I wouldn't have done any of that. I don't know what I'd be doing, to be honest.
No, exactly. So talk to me about traveling then. Where, have you got a plan?
A slight plan, yeah, but it's quite open, because I want to be able to, if I like somewhere, stay longer, or if I hear something, go there, do that, whatever. But the general plan is South America. There's going to be a few friends there, because I've got a friend getting married in Colombia.
Of course, I was speaking to some of the lads the other day.
Well,
I was with Jack.
Ah, class.
Sorry, no, I wasn't with Jack. I was with Alfie. We were talking obviously about Jack. So
So that's the start anyway, which buzzing for, and then I'm going to do Australia, New Zealand, Japan, and then it's like Southeast Asia, and see where I end up basically.
Class. How's your training at the minute? Are you training?
Training, I've been up and down. Obviously, I did the challenge, which absolutely loved, like that training element to it. Like I said, like the content was definitely the hardest bit. I loved getting myself into a hole just on a bike for hours and then going on a run after. Like I actually loved it. Since then, it's been more enjoying Christmas time.
Yeah, of course.
But I still been going to the gym, still been going on a few runs and stuff like that.
Yeah, wicked, mate. I appreciate you. Thank you very much.
No, thank you. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for being the first one of hopefully many. Nice one. Thank you.